Cheers.
Cheers.
Absolutely. Ah, yes. Sadly, just water. Should we get stuck in?
Let's do it.
Okay. Right. I'm going first. What do you enjoy about Chicago, or Lyric in particular?
The wind, because it's the windy city, but not too much in winter, I guess. I think for me, it's really the beautiful balance of modernness and history in Chicago, and as well as this like city life and nature, because the Lake Michigan is just right
That's
there.
true. Yeah, that's true.
It's incredible, and also the great restaurants here. I've already found like one of the best Chinese restaurants
Where?
I've ever been to here in Chicago.
Tell me.
We gotta go.
Yes,
We
please.
gotta go when we open the show.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. Coming from, you live in New York, right?
Yeah.
How do you find it different from living in New York to being in Chicago?
I know New York so much better because I lived there more than 10 years since a student.
Wow.
So yeah, I guess it's not much of a big of a difference. I think it has all the the musical scenes here and a music theater as well, and great restaurants. I think what's different is probably just my friends are not here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm here. Let's
You're
be
here?
friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Shall we go to the next, or should I ask you the same question? Let's just go to
Go to the next question. Thank you. I've explored from my apartment to.
Are you ready?
I think so.
What makes this production of The Magic Flute special?
Well, as it's all projected, I think it makes it incredibly magic. The way that they can achieve, for example, in the fire and water scenes, they can seem like there's really fire, or you're really underwater. I'm not in these scenes, obviously, but when you're swimming and there's fish around you and all these wonderful moments, that it's really fun. It's really fantastic, I think, as well.
It is.
It's very difficult to be in because we obviously have to time everything we do with the set behind us that we can't actually see, right?
Yeah, the accuracy of all
Yeah.
the movements. Yeah.
How did you find it immediately when we started? Were you a bit
I
jarred?
am still finding it.
Yeah.
As Tobias was talking to us the other day, it's the crispness of all the movement and really like the immediate engagement, like when we enter a scene. And also like it's 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional combined. We are in the 3-dimensional world, but the set is really 2-dimensional, right?
Yeah, exactly. So for example, when you have things coming towards you, we suddenly have this
react
thing
to
in front of us, but we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You're meant to be over there.
And you can't really see what's going on actually on the screen, right? That's the hard part, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can just see what's next to you.
Yeah.
But I think this production is, to go back to the question, is so different to anyone that I've ever done.
Agreed.
Because it's its own little universe, really, isn't it? In this silent movie setting with all these wonderful. My character is based on Buster Keaton, with all these comedy, sharp, as you were saying, with sharp moves and everything, which is completely different to any Papageno that I've done, who's usually just kind of in his own world anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love it. I think it's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
Next question?
Yes.
Okay. If I can pick it up. There we go. I get 2 there? No. What do you enjoy most about Mozart's music? Big question.
It is. You could probably also help me out here, but it goes without saying, his music is just incredibly beautiful and touching. It just reaches your heart like that, so immediately. But I think I always see his music, as like a beautiful, perfect crystal globe, that it has such clarity and beauty in it, but also like if you see it from different angles, you'll see different refractions through it, right?
Absolutely.
And it amplifies, of course, like your musicality, your musicianship, and your emotion that you put into singing his music, which is amazing. But at the same time, it also amplifies the imperfections.
Absolutely.
Right?
Do you have any moments in this opera where you actually kind of, you find it scary to sing, or is it is it the whole thing? Because there's, for example, in Marriage of Figaro for me, at the very end where he sings Contessa perdono.
Yeah, everyone's been waiting for that moment.
Exactly, but you get there and you're like, oh, you've been shouting for the last 3 hours of the night, and you get to this moment where it's the most sublime, simple, perfect little moment, and you want to make it such a jewel.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can overthink it, and it becomes terrifying because it is so perfect, and you want to make it so perfect. Do you have any moments like that?
I would say Ach, ich fühl's.
Yeah, well, there we go, of course.
Yes, this whole aria is just, I mean, Pamina is obviously going through a really hard time, but at the same time, like vocally, you have to be really on your toes to make it so perfect that the audience could really also read.
It's also so far into the opera as well, isn't it?
Yes, it's towards the end as well.
Why do they always do this? Like Donizetti in Elisir puts una furtiva right at the end for the poor tenor to have to sing this aria. You always have them to wait for the last minute.
That's why opera is so exciting, because it gives you so much challenges, I think.
That's true. That's true.
All right, ready for the next?
Born ready.
Question.
Absolutely.
How has it been working with the rest of the cast of the Magic Flute?
It's been great, actually. It's a tough one because we don't have much to do together, really. We've all been plotting in our own kind of own moments.
Island.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that once we get moving and start running it and doing the performances, obviously, we'll actually get to see more of each other, because it were kind of fleeting moments of hi, bye, nice to see you. But the cast is fantastic. I think we're really lucky, actually. There's some really beautiful singing, really beautiful singing happening. Beautiful music happening in the pit. Well, in the pianos right now, but soon to be in the pit. I think it's going to be lovely. I think it's going to be really lovely. Yeah,
I think we all just became like experts of wearing harness and singing from height, all of us.
You have to absolutely quickly lose your fear or vertigo immediately, because we're, 30 foot high? Maybe less, 20 foot high?
Yeah.
And I remember going out for the first time, I was like...
Me too.
Oh.
Gave me chills. Like, But yeah, it takes time.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But we don't have that in this production so much, because we're never close. The closest we ever get is the schnelle Füße, right?
Füße, yes.
The running scene. But we're not. There's no, because we're working so hard on our own timing and moments and these things. It's hard to develop sort of real character chemistry at the moment. But that's going to come. And
we don't really have props and a real set, right?
Papageno is the most prop-heavy character I've ever done. So my hands are free for the first time in this role. Well, that's true. That's true. Lots of
a lot of running.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I don't have I have the hanky, yes, but no. So to not be completely covered in props is quite nice, actually. So I don't have one shoulder that's completely held down by a glockenspiel and all these things.
But it's like different, like way of demanding.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. But we're all on the same team, and
we are. We're
team flute.
Yes.
Okay, next question. It's my turn, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
I think we've already touched on this question. What has been the most difficult aspect of this production?
Well, we just talked about it. It's really
working with Papageno.
That's one of it. And also, the physicality of it, everything. Yes, just getting used to this new way of actually staging an opera and doing an opera.
But it changes as well, right? So because we feed the wonderful projection team at the back who are clicking the buttons and making the projections happen. They react from us, so we have to feed them our moves and not fit to the moves, but also sometimes we have to fit to the the projection that's happening.
Yeah, the immediate engagement that
Yes.
we talked about. It's really just like to be in the scene immediately because you don't have time to warm up to it.
How do you feel about doing, because you've done flute a few times now, right? How do you feel about not having dialogue? Do you find that difficult?
Actually, this is my third flute. The first one I did, the dialogues were in English.
Right.
So I get away from it.
Yes.
I got away. And the second time we did this, like, you also were there.
I was in Zurich, right? Yeah, of course.
And
yeah.
it was like modified dialogues. It was not
Yes.
really the original one. So I haven't done the original dialogues
You've
yet.
dodged the
Yes,
dialogues. Okay.
yes.
But I remember the dialogues in Zurich were, apart from for Papageno, who had still most of his dialogues intact.
Yeah.
But they were all a bit different. And
It's quite modern in a way. It's more modern.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the director wrote them.
Yeah.
But for this one to have a sense of dialogues, because there is dialogue sections.
Yes.
But because it's a silent movie, right? We don't
Yeah.
actually, and remembering, because we're not saying what we're saying,
That's
remembering what's being said next to us
Projected
or
right
here
now,
without
exactly.
going, oh yeah, that's what I
Without
say.
cheating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, no cheating.
Yeah, exactly.
I find it really difficult because I'm a loss of what I'm actually saying. So remembering in the moment exactly what is being said here, I think that's the most difficult part for me.
Yeah. And that's why we rehearse
Well, exactly.
a lot.
Otherwise, we would just go straight on stage, wouldn't
Yeah.
we? Next.
All right.
It's you right now. I lose count really easily, really quickly.
What do you hope audiences take away from this production?
Good question. I hope they take away a lot of joy that we give them. I hope they listen with their full heart, because I think listening to, especially with Mozart, it's easy to intellectualize this music
Yeah.
and say, oh, he wrote this with this style or with this in mind. But he really was such a theatrical composer, right?
And a singer's
Everything.
composer as well.
Well, absolutely. Everything is written out. Every thought in this too, but a lot in the Da Ponte operas as well, is written in the music. You have every thought process clicking over, and it's there. So he kind of feeds you what you want to see as an audience member as well. So I think just to listen completely emotionally, enjoy as much as you can, and I hope they come away feeling happy, moved, sad,
yeah,
of course.
all the emotions.
The
Just be
Achich
open.
you can't go away from listening to that without crying a little bit.
Yeah.
I remember listening, we've not done this scene yet, you and I don't think I've been on stage. Oh, I leave the stage when you do this aria,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah.
But usually I'm there as Papageno.
Yeah.
And I think
because
every time I'm
you're in the trial.
exactly, and we're in the trials and we're trying to be quiet, and I'm for the first time
Yeah.
actually being quiet. And I always think that this moment is, I'm always crying at this moment on stage, really. I find it very difficult not to actually get so involved in what she's saying, and it's heartbreaking because the music is just so, it's there.
I know. I'm really surprised because a lot of Papagenos just stuffing your face
Still
during my
eating.
aria.
No, I think it's a real turning point for Papageno, that moment.
Yeah.
Because then it's the first time he's actually been quiet. And he usually says, like, see Tamino, I can also be quiet when I have to. So I think that the audience should be heartbroken with Papageno. I think Papageno really is an audience member who just happens to be on stage while all of these things are happening.
Yeah. I think he is probably one of the most beloved characters.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I feel, do you find these characters, it's more difficult, I think, with your repertoire, but do you find them to be an extension of yourself?
I always see myself actually through these characters because you have to have something to relate to, right? Your personality, your experiences.
Yeah.
But yes, I would say it's quite extended from my reality life because I'm not a princess.
but the subtext of what she's saying is very,
It's
very
all
real.
very heartfelt, and it's, the experiences you have experienced before, you can relate to.
Off-piste, I'm not going to look at these questions, but I have a little other question for you.
Sure.
Do you have a favorite Mozart role to sing?
Favorite?
Yes.
It's so hard. I think so far would be Ilya
Oh, really?
in Idomeneo.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh yeah, I love this role and all of her arias, and it's just, I just don't know how to express it. Yeah, I enjoy singing it every time.
One
I
that
got a
really
chance
just gets to your
Yeah.
soul. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
I love singing Papageno, you know.
Yeah.
I love singing Papageno. It was written for an actor more than a singer, right? So it is, to act this role, I do feel like he's an extension of myself. I'm a bit of a, Naturmensch somehow as well. But I love singing Papageno. But in terms of connection to myself, I just did Guglielmo, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
which was
così.
really fun.
Yeah.
All of the Da Ponte operas are great to sing, actually. I've not done Giovanni yet, so we'll see.
Is
Maybe
that
it'll come up. It's in the books, so
cool?
we'll see.
Very exciting.
I love singing the Count, as much as he is a terrible beep hole.
Womanizer.
Yes, I just love it because there are so many, especially in the Da Ponte roles. There are 100 different colors, and especially in the Count, you have so many different characters behind this facade of nobility. You're a million different people behind it. You're a seducer, you're a jealous husband, you're angry, you're all of these things behind this, in this one figure, which I think is so wonderful about these roles, because we're like that as people.
Yeah.
We're not just one color. We have all these emotions behind us. So I think the Count would probably be the Count and
favorite.
Papageno on completely opposite ends of the scale. Yeah.
Amazing.
Next question.
Go
It's
on.
me, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep asking this question every time. I just forget. It's awful. Okay. How did you get started?
Oh.
And what made you want to be an opera singer?
It's pretty straightforward for me. I just loved humming and singing the melodies that I heard when I was a kid, and my loving parents, they're super supportive, and they started to send me to piano lessons and voice lessons later, with no expectations somehow. It's just pure cultivation of my interests. But then I got into this very prestigious music high school in Shanghai.
Wow.
And that's when I started to have professional trainings, ear training and music history. And I was just exposed to more repertoire, classical repertoire and operatic repertoire. And I think that's when I decided I want to pursue this as a career.
Amazing. Because you sing so, well, it seems, and people say this all the time, I'm sure, but you sing so naturally. Were you naturally able just to start singing, or did you really struggle, or not struggle, but did you have to find your feet to start singing properly?
Oh yeah, I had to. It was actually not easy for me at the beginning. I had, it's the F above middle A. It's a problem for me when I first started, and it took time for me to gradually get into this, comfortable zone of singing and expressing. Yeah. How about you?
But now, do you find it do you forget about singing and you just let yourself go, or do you still very much?
That's a goal.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It is a goal, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily always achievable. Right? Sometimes you're like, oh, I'm really not thinking about the singing. I'm so involved in the character, because you don't have to.
Yeah.
Then sometimes you wake up in the morning and you're like, uh-oh.
I know. Sometimes you just have a bad day that day, right?
Absolutely. With me, both of my parents are singers, which I'm very lucky, very lucky to have. So I remember when I started, I was in a band. A rock band.
A rock
we
band?
were called Shrunk in the Wash. Shout out to my friends, Shrunk in the Wash. And we started, when we were, I think, 10 years old. And then we carried on. We wrote our own music until we were about, I think we stopped when we were about 19, 18.
Mm-hmm.
But we did a few recordings when we were about 15.
Oh, wow.
And my voice had broken a few years before, but it was the first time I think my parents had heard me sing since my voice had broken and been, not just going like this all the time. And they said, well, actually, if you want, maybe this is a path for you. And I thought, no, I want to be a policeman, or I want to be in a rock band. I don't want to sing opera.
Yeah.
That's what you do, Mum and Dad. And then I was like, well, maybe. So I said, what do you think I should sing? My mum handed me a score of The Magic Flute. She said, sing Papageno. I was like, okay, sure. So I was 16 years old and learning the first aria of Papageno, thinking, this is quite fun.
So it's Papageno.
It's Papageno.
That led you into opera.
Absolutely.
How special.
And I carried on, and I went to music college, and the penny kind of dropped around the time that Papageno came along. I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And I am still very lucky to have both of these icons in my life, these idols,
yes.
who can, I often think of it as passing the torch, right? From my parents, my mum still, both of my parents still sing, still can sing. My dad teaches now. But I think that my mum and I sang Peter Grimes together last year, and it was the first thing we've ever done professionally together on stage.
Amazing.
It was amazing. It was so much fun. I was playing Ned Keane and she was playing Mrs. Sedley. And we have all these little scenes together where I'm calling her an old woman and telling her to be quiet and all of these things, which is very rude for a son to say. But I got away with it. So that was a real, to be on stage with the people who started your love for singing. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was really amazing. Okay, soppiness over. I'm going to ask you the next. Oh no, you asked me the next question.
Am I the
yes.
next one? Okay.
Otherwise, I'll cry.
Okay. What is the best advice you've ever received?
It's really difficult in the moment, isn't it, to answer that question? We receive so much advice, and we receive so much good advice. To pinpoint it down to receiving the best advice, sing with your heart. Sing from yourself.
Just enjoy it.
Enjoy it, but love it as well, because of course there are moments where we find it difficult, but we still always love singing, right? I think people link, if you sing from your soul, people will always link to seeing that coming out of you.
I think that's a beautiful advice. Yeah.
I don't know who gave
I'll
it to
let
me.
you pass.
Yeah, pass. Sing from your heart. I don't know.
Sing from your heart.
What's the best advice
From
you've ever
you.
got? I'm going to put you onto the same stress level. Here we go.
Yeah, the same. I have received many really good advices. I think one of them that really speaks to me is that to know that everyone has their own timeline.
Yeah.
Because it's so often that we compare ourselves with other people, but then we forget to really enjoy the journey we're in and the path we're on, which I think is the most important.
Absolutely. That's great. That's really great advice, actually. I'm going to take that.
It's the best.
That's the best advice I've ever heard, guys.
All right, it's your turn.
Yes.
Is it your turn? Yeah.
See, it's not just me. It's stressful, these cards.
Some water.
Okay. What would you consider some of your career highlights thus far?
We'll go backwards. The most recent one, I think it's Santa Fe, when I did my 4th Susanna there. It's such a beautiful place, first of all, to be at, and it was a beautiful cast, team, and production. So yeah, one of that. I think that's one of the performances or productions that I treasure a lot. And then, of course, my Zelina at Lyric 2 years ago. That was my debut, and also really special for me. And 2019, my Salzburg Festival debut.
What did you do?
I did Ilia in a new
Amazing.
production with Peter Sellers and Theodor Karensis.
Marvelous.
It was really so intense, but really special production that I have ever been in, and also musically and dramatically both. And then I think would be Servilia, Pamina, Ilia at the Met.
These are all nice things.
Yes, Met is really a special place for me because I grew up there as a young artist, and it feels like, you know, a baby going home a lot of times.
Oh, that's marvelous.
Yeah.
That's such a nice feeling to have an artistic home, that you feel that you are safe and you can have artistic freedom.
Yeah, and feel the support
Absolutely.
from them. Yes.
Absolutely.
Great. What is your dream role?
Papageno. Was. Hey, don't laugh, it was. For a long time since I started. It still is. I'm just lucky that I get to sing it now. My dream role, I think as singers we always get asked this question, don't we? And it comes in segments of life where we're like, oh, I really want to sing this role, or I really want to sing this role.
Yeah.
I've been very lucky. I've got to sing a lot of my dream roles already. I'm sure the same is the case with you. Like Peleas, for example, was a dream role of mine, and you know, that's my heart role. I absolutely love singing that role. Outside of things that I've sung, I have to say Onegin. I think I would love to sing Onegin.
How far down the road do you think you're gonna?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Doable, I think.
Yeah.
Not so distant future,
beautifully.
but I would love to do it. Maybe in 5-10 years. Who knows? But so many complex emotions with this character hidden, because he comes across as very
arrogant.
Yeah, bored with everything, kind of a very, very tough surface to penetrate, right? But that's obviously because there is something, a lot of these emotions, complex character, background holding up this wall in front of him, which obviously eventually crumbles. And I think it would just be such an amazing journey to find what makes this mind, what makes this man tick. I think that would probably be, for now, my dream role. Obviously, as a baritone, we all want to sing Othello and all these tenor roles, but not feasible, sadly.
Heroic roles, right?
Do you have a role outside of your repertoire, or outside of your voice, that you would love to sing?
Oh my God, I have never really thought of it, but maybe the Queen. And that just like the killer character.
I think I'd like to sing the Queen as well. That'd be fun. That would be really fun.
Yeah.
I always have the dream of wanting to sing "Allarme" with the sword in Trovatore as well. I mean, that would be fun, wouldn't it? Fun on the outside, but I think actually having to do it is probably quite stressful, isn't it? We don't have to deal with that, so I think to say that we would like to sing it is quite fun.
Yes.
What do you do to stay at the top of your game?
I try.
yes. I think that's the best answer. I try.
But like, I think just to stay healthy, you know, mentally, physically, and just be positive and happy. I think that's.
Do you have a certain like routine? Do you work out? Do you walk a lot, run a lot?
I do yoga.
Great.
I meditate.
Very good.
And I try to watch my diet.
Yeah.
To eat properly.
Very good.
Yeah. And sleep well, you know.
That's great. Yoga's amazing for the voice, I think, actually.
Yeah, I love the stretches, and it really helps me to calm down, to relax as well. How about you?
Same thing, really. I try and just, it's more of a mental thing for me. I try and stay calm.
Yeah.
I'm very able to get quite anxious quite quickly. So I think just trying to stay as calm as possible, relax. I exercise. I do yoga when I can.
Mm-hmm.
I find it difficult to do yoga when I'm traveling because I don't have a mat or anything like this.
I know, yeah.
But I go through phases of doing like yin yoga, which is quite a lot of fun. Big, deep stretching just to get rid of all the tension and stress, which is amazing. Really, really fun. And just try and generally be a bit healthy, which again is quite difficult.
Because our body is the instrument
Yeah.
itself. So it's really about taking care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Ying, it was great talking to you.
Same here.
Let's talk some more, off camera.
Off camera.